Have you ever walked into a room and completely forgotten why you were there? You stand there for a second, maybe two, looking around like the walls are going to whisper the answer. And then, after a few minutes, you either give up or remember halfway back down the hallway. If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. And more importantly, it's not something you just have to accept as part of getting older. Our minds are incredibly powerful, but just like our muscles and joints, they need a little extra care as we age. Think of it like this. We stretch to stay flexible, walk to keep our legs strong, and eat healthy to protect our hearts. So why not do the same for our brains? You don't need to be solving crossword puzzles for hours or learning quantum physics. In fact, you can sharpen your memory with a few simple, enjoyable habits that fit right into your day. And the best part? You don't have to wait weeks or months to start noticing a difference. Just a few minutes each day can lead to clearer thinking, sharper recall, and more confidence in your daily life. Today, I want to walk you through 6 brain exercises you can start using right away. These aren't just theories. They're practical, proven techniques that many people over 60 have used to improve memory and stay mentally sharp. We'll take our time through each one, and by the end, you'll have a few powerful tools you can use every day without needing any fancy apps or expensive programs. So, let's start with something surprisingly simple, but incredibly powerful: storytelling. Not the kind where you sit around a campfire, although that could be fun. I mean the kind of storytelling where you recall a moment from your day or your past and tell it to someone. Maybe it's about what you had for breakfast or a funny memory from when your kids were little. You might be thinking, how's that help my brain? Well, when you recall a memory and put it into words, you're exercising several parts of your brain at once. You're accessing memory, forming sentences, organizing events in order, and if you're sharing it with someone, you're engaging socially. That's a lot of brain work packed into a short story. If you live alone, you can still do this. Try keeping a journal. Each evening, jot down a short story from your day, even if it's something small. This morning, I made tea and watched the birds in the yard. There were 2 blue jays chasing each other near the feeder. It doesn't need to be exciting, just real. The act of remembering details and turning them into a narrative builds and strengthens those memory pathways, like carving out a clearer trail in the woods. And here's something interesting. The more emotion you attach to a memory, the stronger that memory becomes. That's why we remember big events like weddings or vacations so vividly. But you don't need big events to train your memory. You just need to slow down and reflect. Even remembering how the sunshine looked in your kitchen this morning can be enough to give your brain a little boost. Now, let's talk about something that might feel a bit silly at first, but I promise, it works wonders. It's called mental mapping. No, you don't need a GPS or a map of your neighborhood. What you're doing here is visualizing places in your mind. For example, picture your childhood home. Try to walk through it room by room. What color were the walls in the kitchen? Which direction did the front door face? What did your bedroom look like? You might be amazed at how many little details start to come back to you. That old clock on the mantle, the creaky step near the hallway. These are more than just memories. They're like little handshakes between different parts of your brain. Visualization exercises like this improve spatial memory and strengthen your recall muscles. It's like doing curls, but for your mind. You can also try it with places you visited recently. Let's say you went to the grocery store. Try sitting down afterward and mentally walking back through the aisles. What was on the end cap of the first aisle? Did you remember pick up bananas? What color were the cashier's nails? These aren't trick questions. They're just playful ways to bring awareness to your surroundings and train your memory to notice, remember, and recall. Don't worry if you can't remember everything. The point isn't to get a perfect score. It's to try. Just the act of trying is what gets the gears turning. And that leads perfectly into our next exercise, switching things up. Yep, changing your routine on purpose. Our brains are wired to find patterns and stick to them. It's efficient, but it can also lead to mental stagnation. So one easy and surprisingly effective way to shake things up is to do familiar things in new ways. If you normally brush your teeth with your right hand, try your left. If you always walk the same loop around the block, go the other direction. Even something as simple as switching seats at the dinner table or changing the order of your morning routine can fire up new connections in your brain. This kind of cognitive stretching keeps your mind alert and flexible. Just like we stretch our bodies to stay limber, doing something a little differently keeps your brain curious and awake. You're basically reminding it, hey, don't get too comfortable, stay sharp. One woman I know, 74 years old, told me she started doing puzzles upside down, not the words upside down. She flips the puzzle pieces and puts them together from her backs. She said it made her think differently, and sure enough, it helped her focus better in other parts of her day, too. You don't need to go that extreme, of course, but the principle is the same. Small shifts, small surprises. Keep your mind on its toes. Now, I know what you might be thinking, but my brain just doesn't work like it used to. And you're right, it doesn't. And that's okay. It's not supposed to. But here's the good news. It can still grow. It can still strengthen. It can still surprise you. And these little exercises are like sunlight and water for your mental garden. So, we explore the power of storytelling, visual mapping, and shaking up your routine. 3 simple ways to give your memory a gentle daily workout. These might seem small, but they're incredibly effective, especially when done regularly. Think of it like brushing your teeth. You don't see the difference after one day, but after a week, a month, a year, the benefits are crystal clear. Let's keep this momentum going. Let's dive deeper into ways you can give your mind a gentle yet invigorating workout every day. Picture yourself at the start of a pleasant morning, savoring a warm cup of coffee or tea while taking a few moments to enjoy some quiet reflection. At times like these, our minds are clear and ready to embrace new challenges. One engaging exercise you might try is playing memory games that gently nudge your brain to recall details, patterns, and sequences. It's not about competing or stressing over perfect answers. Think of it as a leisurely stroll through a garden of thoughts. Imagine sitting down with a deck of cards, or even using a simple mobile app designed for brain puzzles. The goal is to match pairs or remember sequences of images that flash before you. When you take on a memory challenge like this, you're not only training your brain to store and retrieve information, but you're also engaging several parts of your mind at once. Each card you flip or image you encounter creates a little puzzle for your neurons, and gradually, over time, these exercises help make memory recall more natural. I like to think of it as a fun game that also happens to be a workout for your brain muscles. It's interesting to note that there's no need to complicate these activities. Often, the simplest games are the most effective. For example, you might play a quick round of Name That Tune, where you recall the names of your favorite songs from decades past. This isn't just a trip down memory lane. It challenges you to recall melody, lyrics, and emotions associated with those moments. Activities like this bring a sense of joy and nostalgia, and they provide a refreshing change from our everyday routine. Another exciting way to exercise your brain is by learning a new skill or hobby that requires mental effort. This doesn't mean you have to start learning an entirely new language or instrument if that feels overwhelming. Instead, consider small, manageable challenges like trying your hand at a new craft, exploring digital photography, or even dabbling in a few words of a language you've always been curious about. The process of acquiring a new skill forces you to form new neural pathways. It's like planting seeds in your mind and nurturing them until they grow into something beautiful and sustaining. Take, for instance, a friend of mine who decided to learn the basics of painting late in life. At first, it was simply an enjoyable pastime, a way to see the world through a new lens. Slowly, though, it morphed into a delightful exercise in precision and creativity. With each brushstroke, she wasn't just creating art. She was also stimulating her brain to think differently, to see color, texture, and form in innovative ways. Every little struggle over mixing the right shade or capturing a familiar scene from a new angle strengthened her mental connections. And that's really the magic of learning. It continuously invites you to step outside your comfort zone, to confront challenges, and ultimately to grow stronger in the process. You might wonder how to begin. One simple idea is to set aside a few minutes each day to focus on this new interest. It might feel a bit daunting at first, especially if you're not used to structured learning. But remember, It isn't about perfection, it's about progress, and every tiny step counts. Whether it's reading a few pages of a book on a subject you've never explored before, watching a tutorial video online, or even joining a local community class, each new experience serves as a mini workout for your brain. As you sit quietly in your favorite chair, perhaps in the soft glow of the morning sun, think of this learning process as a meditation of the mind. It isn't a race or a chore. It's a gentle, ongoing conversation between you and the world around you. And much like a conversation with a good friend, it tends to flow naturally, with each new idea building on the previous one. Before you know it, your mind is not only absorbing the new information, but also connecting it with memories, emotions, and experiences from your past. Another thing to keep in mind is that challenging yourself in small ways every day can have a significant impact over time. There's a common saying that something as simple as a daily walk can improve one's physical health. And the same concept applies to your mental health. A few minutes of concentrated effort on memory games or learning something new might not make headlines, but these little acts accumulate, slowly turning into noticeable improvements in how you think, feel, and interact with the world around you. It's also important to create an environment that supports these efforts. Maybe you set up a quiet corner in your home, a comfortable space where you can sit without distractions and fully engage with a puzzle or a new hobby. A little table by a window with soft natural light, a comfortable chair, or even some soothing background music. These elements can enhance your experience and make the challenge feel like a delightful daily ritual rather than a task to check off your list. There's something incredibly rewarding about seeing small, tangible improvements over time. You might recall a moment when you struggled to remember a little detail, only to notice later that with each session, your recall became sharper, the details more vivid, and your confidence in your own memory stronger. That gradual improvement can be both motivating and heartening, reinforcing the idea that it's never too late to invest in yourself, mentally, emotionally, and physically. As you continue these exercises, you begin to notice a pleasant intermingling of clarity and creativity emerging in your thoughts. Tasks that once seemed routine suddenly feel a little easier, a little more natural. It's as if you're discovering hidden reserves of mental energy that were always there, waiting for you to tap into them. And this feeling of empowerment can extend to other areas of your life, inspiring you to engage more deeply with hobbies, conversations, and even challenges that you might have once shied away from. You may find that these memory games and learning endeavors become a part of your daily rhythm, a cherished and anticipated moment when your day takes a turn for the better. In those moments, you're not just passively going through the motions, you're actively investing in your future self. Every challenge you take on, every new piece of knowledge you acquire, is like a tiny celebration of the amazing, resilient, and endlessly adaptable nature of your mind. So as you consider adding these exercises into your daily routine, remember that the benefits are deeply personal and quietly transformative. The joy of engaging with a challenging puzzle, the satisfaction of mastering a new technique in photography, or the simple pleasure of recalling a song from your youth. Each moment reinforces the idea that our minds, much like our bodies, thrive on activity and engagement. Take these experiences not as burdens to bear, but as small adventures, a series of enjoyable, everyday opportunities to discover more about yourself and the world around you. The beauty is that every session is unique. One day might bring a burst of clarity and new insights, while another might be more about steady, calm progress. Both have their own value. What matters most is that you're making time for your mental well-being, cherishing every little win along the way. With each turn of the card in a memory game and every new skill you bravely learn, you're paving the way for a more vibrant and resilient mind. As you continue to nurture these habits, you might find that not only do you remember more details from your day, but you also recall the joy and wonder of learning itself. And isn't that a beautiful reminder that life is a continual journey of discovery? Embracing these exercises opens up a world of possibilities, inviting your mind to explore, grow, and adapt. It's a testament to the fact that mental fitness is just as important as physical fitness, especially as we age. By playing these fun, stimulating games and exploring new realms of knowledge, you're honoring yourself and the wealth of experiences you've gathered over the years. Take a moment now to imagine the satisfaction of looking back at the small triumphs that each day brings. Picture your mind as a lively garden where every new skill learned and every memory game played adds a splash of color, a hint of fragrance, or a sturdy branch to support even more growth. In this space, every day is an opportunity to cultivate a richer, more resilient version of yourself. And so, with the spirit of curiosity and a gentle smile, consider inviting these challenges into your day. Let them be as natural as a conversation with an old friend, offering not just a workout for your brain, but moments of joy, reflection, and quiet accomplishment. Let's continue our journey by opening our minds to a gentle practice that not only enhances memory, but also brings a sense of calm and centeredness to your day. Imagine setting aside just a few moments in the morning, or even in the quiet hours of the evening, where you sit comfortably, close your eyes, and allow your mind to settle into a state of peaceful awareness. This practice, often known as mindfulness meditation, isn't about emptying your mind completely or forcing yourself to think of nothing. It's about gently observing your thoughts as they come and go, like watching leaves float by on a slow-moving stream. When you begin to include these mindful moments into your routine, you'll notice an inner quiet that carries over into other parts of your day. It's as if you've given your brain permission to take a break from its constant buzzing and to simply rest. During these periods of calm, the brain has a chance to process, sort through memories, and even strengthen connections between them. Over time, this not only aids in memory recall, but it also helps reduce the stress and distractions that sometimes get in the way of clear thought. It may sound a bit unusual at first, like sitting in silence when you're used to the daily hustle of life, but try to think of it as a mini vacation for your mind. No elaborate gear or special environment is needed, just a quiet space where you can be comfortable. If sitting still feels challenging, you can start with just a few deep, intentional breaths. Inhale slowly. Let your chest expand with the promise of a new beginning, and exhale, releasing any tension you might be holding on to. There's a simple magic in these moments, the magic of reconnecting with yourself. As you become more comfortable with these quiet periods, you may start to notice patterns in your thoughts. Perhaps you realize that certain worries come to you repeatedly, or maybe you begin to see the outline of a cherished memory, colored by the gentle light of nostalgia. This practice has a way of allowing your brain to work in its own time, to bring details into focus without the pressure of trying too hard. It's just a natural unfolding, like watching a familiar story that has been told 100 times but never loses its charm. This exercise in mindfulness not only encourages a calm state of mind, it can actually sharpen the way you recall information. Think about it like this. When you're constantly on the go, your brain is juggling a multitude of tasks without a moment to breathe, and it can easily become overwhelmed. But when you take the time to slow down, to simply be present in the moment, you're giving your brain a chance to update, reorganize, and reinforce the memories that matter. It becomes more like a well-tended garden, where every plant has space to grow and flourish, instead of a wild, overgrown thicket where everything competes for sunlight. During one of those quiet moments, you might even start to appreciate the subtleties that often escape our notice in the busy rush of the day. The way the light filters through a window, the sound of distant birds calling out to one another, or the feeling of comfort that comes from a familiar chair. Each detail, when given a space to be noticed, strengthens the neural pathways associated with memory. Your brain delights in these small observations, and the effort you put into noticing them makes them easier to remember later on. It's important to remember that consistency is key here. It isn't necessary to invest hours in meditation. Even 5 to 10 minutes a day can make a significant difference. The goal is not to master any technique or to achieve a state of enlightenment. It's simply about inviting a little bit of tranquility into your day, allowing your thoughts to settle, and giving your mind that essential space to process everything. With regular practice, you may find that the world seems a bit brighter, your thoughts a bit clearer, and your memories more accessible. Now, as you settle into this practice, think about how it fits into the larger picture of maintaining and nurturing your mental vitality. Throughout our conversation, we've talked about sharing stories, visualizing places from your past, switching up your routine, engaging in memory games, and learning new skills. Each of these exercises contributes in its own way to the strength and flexibility of your brain. This final exercise, mindful meditation, serves as a supportive partner to all those activities. It reminds you to slow down, to observe, and to give yourself the space to fully absorb the moments that create those memories in the first place. And isn't it the beauty of it all? Every little technique, every playful challenge, and every moment of quiet reflection adds up over time. Imagine a mosaic composed of countless tiny pieces. Some pieces might be bright and bold, like the vivid hues of a cherished memory. Others might be soft and subtle, like the gentle whisper of a morning breeze. Together, they create a picture of a life lived fully, a life in which every day is an opportunity to nurture not just the body, but the mind as well. Your mind is like an expansive library, filled with the stories and experiences that have defined your journey. By engaging in these memory exercises, you're not only preserving those cherished volumes, but you're also adding new chapters to the story of your life. Each day offers a fresh page, a blank canvas waiting for your impressions and reflections. And while it's natural to feel that some chapters might be harder to recall than others, the simple act of revisiting them, even through mindful meditation, ensures that these precious moments are treasured and remembered. Consider the morning hours when you wake up and the world is still quiet outside your window. That's a perfect time to connect with your inner self. As you begin to breathe deeply and listen to the gentle rhythm of your thoughts, you might recall a conversation with an old friend, a piece of advice from a loved one, or even a fleeting thought that sparked a moment of inspiration. These are the moments that enrich your life, that add layers to your identity, and that your brain holds onto with remarkable resilience. It doesn't matter if you're new to this practice or if you've been trying to fit it into your routine for a while. Every moment you dedicate to mindful reflection is a victory, a step forward in keeping your memory and your life's narrative sharp and vibrant. And even on the days when you feel that your mind is wandering or distracted, gently bringing it back to that central point of focus is a practice that, in itself, strengthens your ability to concentrate and remember. As you gently close your eyes at the end of a reflective session, remember that you've given your brain a wonderful gift, a moment of peace and a chance to organize the thoughts and memories that are the essence of who you are. In those quiet moments, you are showing compassion to yourself, acknowledging that mental rejuvenation is just as important as physical care. This nurturing of your inner world radiates outward, influencing every conversation, every decision, and every small joy you encounter throughout the day. So, as we arrive at this point in our shared journey, I invite you to cherish these practices as part of a holistic approach to living fully. Imagine each day as a patchwork quilt, where every mindful breath, every memory game, every story shared or recalled, and every new skill learned weaves together a pattern of resilience, joy, and steadfast vitality. Your life is a tapestry of experiences, and by engaging with your mind daily through these exercises, you're ensuring that each thread remains strong and vibrant. This evening, when you settle into your favorite chair, consider letting your thoughts wander gently through the moments of your day. Allow your mind to carry you back to a time that brought laughter or love, to a place that sparked wonder, or even to sound that resonates deep within you. Each journey in your mind is an exercise that strengthens and enriches the very foundation of your being. I invite you to share your thoughts about these exercises. Think about the moments that have shifted your perspective or the small successes that, over time, have illuminated the path ahead. Every experience, every insight is a reminder that it's never too late to invest in yourself, to nourish both your body and your mind, and to discover that every day holds a promise for renewal. As you continue to explore these practices, let the simple act of remembrance be your guide. Whether it's a favorite memory, a new challenge, or a quiet moment of reflection, know that you are nurturing something truly special. The path to a vibrant mind is paved with these gentle exercises, and each step you take enriches your life in ways both big and small. So here's to embracing each day as a new opportunity, a chance to tell your story, to visualize the cherished corners of your past, to switch up your routine with playful surprises, to challenge your memory with fun games, to explore new skills, and to find serenity in mindful reflection. Let this journey remind you that every moment counts, and every little effort contributes to a brighter, clearer, and more resilient version of yourself. May your days be filled with wonder, your mind with clarity, and your heart with the knowledge that you are continuously growing, learning, and rediscovering the beauty of your own life. Thank you for joining me on this journey toward a more vibrant, mindful, and memory-rich life. Here's to living your best life at every stage, with wisdom and joy lighting the way.